Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's discussion on one of the most pressing issues of our time: nuclear weapons proliferation. With us, we have Valentina, a policy analyst specializing in international relations, and Carlos, a scientist with expertise in nuclear technology. Let's dive right now. Valentina, can you provide a brief overview of the countries involved in nuclear weapons programs?
Of course, Ashley. As of now, 9 countries officially have nuclear weapons: the US, Russia, China, the United Kingdom, France, India, Pakistan, Israel, and North Korea. Other nations like Iran have been suspect of nuclear ambitions, although they claim otherwise. Curiously, some countries like Germany and Canada contribute to nuclear technology development for peaceful purpose, but they don't have nuclear arsenals.
And what about countries in the region, like Mexico or Colombia?
That's a great question. Countries like Mexico and Colombia, along with most of Latin America, are part of the Treaty of Tlatelolco, which established the region as a nuclear weapon-free zone. Canada, though a close ally of the United States, doesn't possess nuclear weapons either.
Thanks, Valentina. Now, Carlos, from a scientific perspective, what makes nuclear weapons so dangerous?
Nuclear weapons are devastating for two primary reasons: their explosive power and their lingering radioactive effects. When a nuclear weapon detonates, it triggers a chain reaction that releases immense energy, causing an explosion, a shockwave, and intense heat. The radiation released can have long-term health effects, including cancer and genetic mutations, not just for those immediately exposed, but for future generations as well.
That's terrifying. Could you elaborate on what happens to the human body when exposed to this kind of radiation?
Absolutely, high levels of radiation cause what's called acute radiation syndrome. In severe cases, it damages the cells in our body, leading to symptoms like vomiting, burns, and internal bleeding. Long-term exposure increases cancer risks, and even lower doses can harm DNA, leading to developmental issues in children and unborn babies. The environmental impact is also staggering, as radiation contaminates soil, water, and ecosystems for decades.
That's chilling to hear. So, Valentina, why has the world not collectively decided to stop nuclear proliferation already?
That's a complex issue, Ashley. The history of nuclear weapons dates back to World War II, with the Manhattan Project leading to bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
first record of the doom of Nagasaki, target for atom bomb number 2, is filmed from a super fortress many miles away. Beneath that sinister pall of smoke, the world's most destructive force has been unleashed. With what results we know only too well.
Since then, nuclear weapons have been seen as symbols of power and deterrence. Countries like the US and Russia maintain massive stockpiles as part of their defense strategies.
And what about countries like North Korea or Iran? Why are they in the spotlight?
North Korea's nuclear program is a direct challenge to international agreements like the Treaty of Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons. Iran, on the other hand, has faced accusation of trying to develop nuclear weapons under the guise of civilian nuclear program, despite claiming otherwise. This creates distrust and complicates diplomatic relations.
Interesting, Carlos. Are there any measures in place to prevent proliferation?
Yes, treaties like the NPT aim to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and promote disarmament. However, enforcement is tricky. Some nations refuse to join, like India and Pakistan, while others violate agreements, making it difficult to maintain global trust.
So, Valentina, let's get to the heart of this. Why should government prioritize ending the spread of nuclear weapons?
Simply put, nuclear proliferation increases the risk of catastrophic wars. More nations with nukes mean more opportunities for conflicts, accidents, or even terrorist groups obtaining these weapons. And the humanitarian cost is unimaginable. Just think of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The world doesn't need a repeat of that tragedy.
I'd add that stopping proliferation is essential for the planet's health. A nuclear war could lead to a phenomenon called nuclear winter, where sudden debris blocks sunlight, causing global temperatures to drop. This will devastate agriculture and lead to mass starvation.
Currently, this is a difficult situation, but let's focus on solutions. What can governments and individuals do to address this issue?
Governments need to strengthen treaties like the NPT and invest in diplomacy. Countries with nuclear weapons must lead by example and commit to global disarmament. At the same time, we need a stronger international monitoring and enforcement mechanisms to hold violators accountable.
From a scientific standpoint, we need to promote alternative energy technologies that don't rely on nuclear reactors, which can sometimes serve as cover for weapons programs. Public awareness is also key. People need to understand the risk to pressure the leaders into action.
That's a great point. So, Valentina, do you see any hope for progress?
Yes, recent talks between global powers show a renewed interest in arms control, and grassroots movements like ICAN, which won the Nobel Peace Prize, are pushing governments to take action. Change is possible, but it requires collective effort.
Thank you both for such an insightful discussion. Before we close, any final thought?
Ending nuclear proliferation isn't just a political issue, it's a moral one. The stakes are too high to ignore.
And science backs that up. A nuclear-free world is safer, healthier, and more sustainable.
Thank you, Valentina and Carlos, and thank you to our audience for tuning in. Let's work together toward a safer future.